Back from 2015 to 2021, Injury Reserve was probably one of the biggest rap bands in the experimental scene. They had a lot of things going for them, a lot of solid albums. The main thing that I think of when someone brings up Injury Reserve is definitely consistency. From Live at the Dentist's Office to By the Time I Get to Phoenix, every single album and EP they've dropped was consistently great. So why is RiTchie's brand new album, Triple Digits, just so mid?
Hey guys, coming at you live right before this video starts. I want to let you know, what does this comment mean? Now I'm gonna give this guy the benefit of the doubt. He's probably not speaking from his own position, or at least I'm hoping. But if you're getting that mad about me talking about industry plans, then maybe you need to rethink your life choices.
Little buddy, how are you doing?
Oh my god!
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Oh my God.
whoa, whoa,
Oh my God.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
A little bit of background about RiTchie. RiTchie is one of the members of the now disbanded rap group Injury Reserve. Injury Reserve's three main members were RiTchie, Groggs, and Corey, or Parker Corey. Corey was the producer, and Groggs and RiTchie were the rappers on almost all the tracks. Everything they produced, everything they made was pretty good. It was great even. I loved their stuff back then. And even after the unfortunate passing of Groggs, they still managed to make a very great album By the Time I Get to Phoenix, probably one of my favorite albums of all time. So you'd think RiTchie would have a lot of experience with rapping and flow structure and just how to make a song sound good. Well, this is RiTchie's first really big project without the help of Groggs or Corey. So it was kind of stepping into new territory for him. And unfortunately, this album doesn't really hit the same way as I hoped it would. First things first, compared to Injury Reserve, RiTchie's brand new album, Triple Digits or 112, sounds just different. Really weird, almost as if he's kind of trying to copy Kanye West's old style of like sampling. He wasn't the one producing, but it's really weird hearing RiTchie on this new kind of sound. It's almost reminiscent of Live at the Dentist's Office in a way, but just a little bit more distorted. I'm not actually a big fan of most of these beats. They just seem all right at best. The two singles that were dropped before this album were the best tracks, Dizzy and Richie Valens. Really good instrumentals and really good rapping. That was just kind of clickbait for me because I was going into this album thinking, oh, these two singles were great. I can't even imagine how good the actual album's gonna be. And turns out the two best tracks were the single. I hate when artists do that. The number one thing I hate the most when artists release a new album is they put their best tracks on the album as the pre-release single. That's like exactly what you shouldn't do. Put your weakest tracks on the album as the singles, if you should even have weakest tracks. If you are confident enough to make an album, all the tracks should be perfect in your eyes. But you drop the mid tracks in your eyes so that every other track is amazing by comparison. Better yet, drop pre-release singles that aren't in the album so that everything is new. That was a tangent, but let's get back to Triple Digits. Most of these beats are really just weird in a way. Let's hear a beat. Let's hear a beat. I don't know, it kind of feels like deja vu. I've heard that beat from somewhere else. And that's not saying that like I'm accusing him of like stealing music. Well, that's just exactly what rap music is, or any music for that matter. It's just sampling. But what really ticks me off about these kinds of beats is that it just feels fake. It doesn't feel like there's any originality to it. I think this was just kind of like a side project for RiTchie, just to be like, hey guys, I'm back. We're not gone for good. Even though he didn't do this with By Storm, the new band, he's just doing this by himself. This is his own personal project. So honestly, it confuses me why this album's so mid. I'm not saying bad because there are some good tracks on this, but I'm not saying good either because the album's not good. I don't know, I feel almost let down because I was expecting something like By the Time I Get to Phoenix, and it's just a basic rap album. I mean, there's nothing really that stands out besides the instrumentals, and even those are kind of mid in a way. But RiTchie's lyrics aren't really the most unique thing ever. It was a lot more unique to see him like kind of in a different area with the self-titled album and By the Time I Get to Phoenix. He was really reaching his stride with those two albums, but now it just seems like he's kind of recessed into this ball of mediocrity. Hopefully this doesn't like stay like the status quo. Hopefully when By Storm releases their first album with RiTchie and Parker Corey, it's gonna be something else. I still can't wait. It's not a good sign seeing RiTchie's solo project being this mid. Not good. In my opinion, most of the tracks are like okay, mid to okay. okay, but Get a Fade, I actually just don't like that track. It's not good. It's really, really distorted vocals, but not in a good way where it's like, oh, this sounds so weird. It's distorted in a way it's like, oh, this sounds like shit. Like, not a big fan of Get a Fade. It's like corny lyrics too. I don't know what went wrong. I just don't know what went wrong. The Worst Nightmare is just some guy talking. Triple Digits, I mean, it's okay. But at the end of the day, all these tracks could be okay and I would still feel let down. Because when you are consistently good for upwards of a decade and then you release something that's mid, it hits you like a train, you know? I would have never expected Triple Digits to be this mid, but it is. So hopefully from here, we can hope that By Storm is gonna be fire. How do I put this album into like a sentence? Triple Digits is talking about like how hot it is outside, you know? It's like a theme. Oh, it's triple digits outside. It's 112 degrees. And because it feels like I'm having a heat stroke. I'm listening to this. I'm not listening with a clear mind. It's muddy. Some tracks are pretty good, like Ritchie Valens. Really, really good. Which sucks because it's the single track. But you know what? It doesn't really matter because I'm just another music critic. And Ritchie needs to step up his game or else I'm just going to have to put him in the mid category with Vince Staples and Corey Feldman.